Hi, it's Hannah. Thanks for watching. Today's video is all about Hermes Paddock. This is the 2025 edition of this bottle. It was originally launched last year for the 50th anniversary of a horse competition called Saut Hermes that was sponsored by Hermes, and they came out with a perfume to commemorate that. It is really, there's almost no information out there about this scent because it launched so quietly. Originally, it was only available in 3 Hermes boutiques in Paris, and this year in 2025, it was available in other Hermes boutiques around the world. I believe Toronto also had some bottles available. There's nothing online on the Hermes website, doesn't show the bottle, it doesn't say that it's sold out. It was never available for sale online. And from what I hear, people that even called the boutiques to see if they had a bottle, the sales associates had not heard of it or had no idea if there was a bottle or not because they were just unfamiliar with the perfume. So it really was launched exceptionally quietly, and that wasn't even to create a sense of hype. It was really because that is just the way that Hermes does things. And the other day, I came across an article that was talking about this rooftop garden that Hermes has on top, like one of its stores in Paris, its flagship store. And the garden is only available for people that actually work at the Hermes store and other guests. So if you're invited, you can go up to the garden and enjoy it, but otherwise it's not open to the public. It's not there to make them money, so it's not like you can even pay an admission fee and then go up to the garden. It's just there for people that work there and really the gardeners who have to take care of the garden every day. So quite a special place, and just in line with the brand's quiet luxury aesthetic of, like if you know, you know, and that is this perfume. Like if you know about it or you happen to be in the Hermes store and you want to purchase it, you can, but it's not something that they're going to advertise or even offer to everybody. It's just going to be there for the people that know about it. And that kind of is in line with like the whole story or like the history, the hype around the Birkin bag, right? Originally, you could only get it if you were invited to purchase one, and a lot of the rumor and the hype around it was that Hermes would invite you to purchase a bag if you spent a certain amount of money in the store, but if you didn't meet that threshold, then you were not offered a Birkin bag for purchase. Eventually people figured that out. There's been a book written about it too. And it did turn out to be that if you spent a certain amount of money, they would show you the Birkins that were available. And the more money you spent, the more of a chance there was of you getting the Birkin that you wanted in the color that you wanted. So there was a lot of hype about that. Obviously now we have dupes and we have resale sites, and people hire other people to go get them the Birkin bag, and there's, the world has kind of changed in terms of how people acquire luxury goods, but that is just the way that Hermes does things. They do things very quietly, and there's always going to be something that's not available to everybody and that only insiders get. And that seems to be the case with this perfume. I am actually not an Hermes insider. I don't live in a city where there's a store. I mean, I go back and forth to Toronto all the time, but I'm not at the Hermes store all the time where I could have gotten a bottle, but I was able to buy it because I saw that someone had it on sale, so I bought my bottle used and I got my hands on it. So I have it even though I wasn't at the Hermes store, but I had heard about it. I knew about it, and I knew exactly what it was when I was buying it, and I was happy to pay for it, buy it, even though I had not smelled it myself. So this was a blind buy, and it would probably be a blind buy for most people because there's such a limited amount of bottles offered every year that you kind of have to buy it when it's in store. And if you pass on it, then you might not ever get the chance to buy this bottle again. But hopefully next year it's going to be out again with a 2026 version, and maybe it'll even be available in more stores. So I wanted to share what this bottle smells like. Apparently it smells very similar to the bottle that was launched last year, and so if you come in contact with it or you see it out in the wild, you'll know what to expect and you can decide whether you want to buy it or not. Okay, so I know people always ask, but the retail price for a bottle of Hermes Paddock in Canada is $426 plus tax. I think that's in line with the other Hermessence bottles that are available, and as of right now, that is the cost for it. So be prepared to shell out that much money if you see it in stores. It is on the pricey side, and this is a 100 ml bottle, so quite a bit of money to spend, especially if you don't know what it's going to smell like. Luckily, this ended up being a perfume that I really enjoy wearing, and I kind of like weird things sometimes, so I was not put off by the price or by the way that it smelled. To me, it's totally worth it to spend money on something that you are going to enjoy wearing. The name, of course, refers to a horse paddock, so where you're going to be walking the horses and exercising them. The notes that I had read about were hay, caramel, something animalic. People said that there was leather in this as well, and I got all those things. And because of all those listed notes that people had referred to, a lot of people are wondering whether this smells similar to Dzing by L'Artisan Parfumeur, because that also smells animalic and has hay as a listed note and also cotton candy. I will say that this does not smell like Dzing at all. I still have my bottle of Dzing. Dzing is more of a vanilla perfume. It has like a really dry, powdery vanilla that it settles into, and Paddock is not a vanilla perfume. It does have sweetness because there is like a caramel kind of note that's there in the background. It does have a hay-like dryness also, but it's not a vanilla perfume. It's very smoky, very powdery, and I can actually smell the smoke. Like even before opening the bottle, I can just smell it all the time. So super smoky, super powdery. There's something animalic in it, but that animalic note is almost a little bit fecal, so like a little bit poopy. And I think that that is maybe an oud accord that's being used in this perfume, because you get this like powdery incense kind of quality and a smokiness that also goes with the animalic note, and oud is often all those things combined together. It's not so oudy that it feels off-putting or that it's embarrassing to wear this out in the open, like to work or anything like that. It's just something that's kind of there in the background. Some people said that this kind of reminds you of all the smells that you can put to disguise the smell of a horse, and I think that that's pretty accurate. Like you do get all these other notes that are in the air, but like in the background, like far away, there is like this horsey animalic kind of note that's almost like you're in a space with animals around, but you're trying to block that out in your head because your nose just needs to get used to that animal poopiness that's in the air. There is a leather accord that's in this perfume, and it's not a super harsh leather. It doesn't remind me of, you know, something like Tom Ford Ambre leather, which is a lot of IBQ. It kind of has that new car smell. This is a softer leather, but it does, in my mind, look black and kind of makes me think of a horse saddle or a boot stomping through mud. That's what I think of when I get the leather, along with the oud note and the smokiness that's in this perfume. The hay that's in there makes me think of someone that's really walking through a barn and smelling the horses that are in there. I think there might be a little bit of birch tar in here, and that's contributing to the leather note. And maybe it's like a leather accord that has like a little bit of IBQ and also a little bit of birch tar, and those are just going really well together. My favorite part of this perfume is the dry down because I get this really gorgeous powdery smoky incense, and it kind of runs throughout the wear of this perfume, but I really get it once those other notes kind of dry down. The poopiness is gone and the caramel kind of note is gone and the hay has kind of settled, and I just get this really gorgeous incense, and it's there the whole time. It's been there the whole time, but then a couple hours into wearing this perfume, that's all I can smell. It's just my favorite thing ever. I love wearing incense, and I love that they've taken this like oud and horse and pasture and hay and leather, and then also thrown some incense in there that's kind of meditative and smoky and also kind of perfumey, and I really enjoy the perfumey aspect of it. It makes me kind of forget everything else that's out there and just appreciate the perfume for what it is, and makes me appreciate wearing perfume. This perfume is an eau de parfum. It has a decent amount of longevity. I can smell it for the whole entire day. It's not overly strong. It's not a beast mode perfume, so you can wear 2 or 3 sprays, which is how much I would normally wear of any perfume. You get like a creaminess that comes out and a powderiness that's there all the way through. As you can tell, that this was a very, very successful blind buy for me. I really enjoy wearing it. It's just the right amount of weird and wearable. I smelled this with a couple of friends and they all were like, yeah, this is so you. Not because I have an affinity for horses or that I really like the smell of hay or manure or anything like that, but just because I like things that are weird and I also like incense, and this kind of gives me both those things together in one perfume. Like I said, this is very Hermes coated because it's so niche and luxurious and expensive. Like, it does smell expensive because of all the notes that are giving like this complexity to the perfume. This isn't something that's very basic. It's not meant to be for everybody. It's just meant to be for the person that really appreciates niche perfume. But the irony is that this is coming from a big designer brand, Hermes, and it really is giving you designer quality. It's very well blended, but it's also interesting enough and different enough to smell really niche. So love it. I love that about it. I know I mentioned longevity and wear time and all of that. Does it have a lot of sillage? I think it does, because a couple times that I've worn this, people have stopped me and asked me what that perfume was and complimented me because they thought it smelled really nice, but like they couldn't figure out what they were smelling, and I think that's always a good thing. It wasn't that they were smelling a cupcake or a candy or just like vanilla. Like they were like, what is that smell? I can't really put my finger on what it is. And yeah, like when I first smelled this, I couldn't really put my finger on it either, but I just really liked it. And I think that's the beauty of a perfume that wows you. Like, you can't really describe it, you can really just appreciate it. So I think the person that's going to buy this is not going to care about sillage or longevity, but they are going to care about whether they're getting something unique and interesting and different for the amount of money that they're spending, and potentially for the amount of work that it's going to take to like get to the Hermes store and buy it in person, make sure they get their hands on a bottle. You know, if you like things that are interesting and strange and really one of a kind, then this is a perfume that's for you. If you're scared of oud, or you don't really like leather, or you're not an incense person, or you don't like smoke, then probably you're not gonna like this, and that's okay. I don't think it's supposed to be something that everybody likes, but it is something that's unique and different at Hermes, and this was a wonderful surprise. It's probably my favorite perfume that I've bought all year, and hopefully I'll be able to enjoy it for many years to come. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.